Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me in this discussion about climate change in today's world. Climate change. What is it? What does it look like? Climate change is shifts in the temperature over a long period of time. Um, Unfortunately, human activities have had a long-term effect on Earth, and currently those conditions have led to many issues seen today. I will go over climate change affects I will go over how climate change affects people on a personal level, national level, and globally. Um, One of the things that most people are suffering with today due to the season change we're experiencing is allergies. Um, One thing that climate change affects is people on a physical level. It can cause illnesses, and the body's ability to adapt to the fluctuating temperatures can be timely. And so, when we are in the process of being adaptable, there are heat and cold related illnesses that we do suffer from. Some of those heat related illnesses include stroke and cardiovascular disease, Lyme disease from overpopulation of ticks, West Nile virus from a growing population of mosquitoes. Um, and with the cold related illnesses, of course, we get that. Um, the sicknesses like the influenza and the common cold that are produced from the temperature change. Um, with having warmer temperatures, it is associated with higher amounts of energy use. Um, According to the EPA.gov website, energy use has nearly doubled since 1973. So when we're experiencing those long summers and the increased temperatures, we tend to turn on our air conditioning units and plug in our fans and stay inside, really. And so our energy consumption is quite high when we're trying to avoid those warmer temperatures. Um, According to some data found on yearbook.interdata.net, global energy consumption has come back with a 5% growth in 2021 after it took a dip in 2020, and the overall average is about 2% higher in that period of 2000 and 2019 than previous levels in earlier years. So, with that being said, oil, coal, gas, electricity, heat, and biomass are all being used on a record level. And with that, it adds to the atmosphere and the overall warmth of the planet. One thing to mention too before we move on is that is a very costly investment. um, that we have to deal with when dealing with climate change and energy consumption. The last thing that climate change can affect is weather, and with fluctuating warm and cold temperatures, it produces a lot of tornadoes and flash floods and wildfires, mudslides, hurricanes, and earthquakes. Um, a lot of these natural disasters result in property damage, injuries, illnesses, and of course, death occurs. Um, so, with these erratic weather conditions, it definitely is, it does make you realize how climate change can affect, you on a personal level. Um, Next, we're going to go into how climate change can affect on a national scale. Um, with warmer temperatures in lake water, it causes a variety of problems. Um, it is a perfect breeding ground for algae, and with more algae in the water, it means less oxygen in the water, which suffocates many life forms that reside in the lakes. Um, Also, when humans, with the warmer temperature, they tend to recreate in lakes, and swimming in lakes that are warmer than they should be is very dangerous to humans. There's the algae, of course, and then a bacteria that will grow that is very dangerous upon consumption. And so, naturally, our lakes are affected by climate change. Another thing that is affected is how long our seasons are. And so, with long term variations, it's had a lasting effect on season change. And with longer summers present, there's been a issue with extreme weather conditions and the severity of them. Um, According to the USDA, the seasons of a changing climate have been already seen varying region to region, and with the temperatures higher, the growing seasons have become longer. Precipitation, patterns have changed, and extreme precipitation events have increased in frequency and severity. And because of the sensitivity of agriculture to weather and climate conditions, these impacts have a substantial direct and indirect effect production and profitability. So not only is it affecting agriculture with animals and livestock, but also with crops. And so that affects how much we are able to profit and produce. Um, it has a large effect on how we're able to survive. Not only us, but the livestock as well. Another thing that has been massively affected by climate change is our air quality. It's been very poor in the recent years with the global warming. Um, the CDC states that with the rise in ground level ozone and particulate matter air pollutions in some locations, it has been seen to be causing many health problems, including diminishing lung function, increased hospital admissions, and emergency department visits for asthma, and increases in premature death. Globally, there is air pollution, you know, and it's mostly caused by human production. And so, in many countries, there have been instances where children are dying because they cannot breathe the air that they're surrounded in. On a global scale, we know that glacier ice caps are melting and at an alarming rate. Warming temperatures have increased the rate in which they're melting, and once ice caps melt, they release methane, which is one of the hottest gases and the most able to have a long-term effect, which contributes to climate change and global warming. And with that, it not only deregulates the cooling of the planet, but it allows for higher sea levels because of all of the melting ice, which is the next thing that we're going to speak about. The global effect of climate change is the rise in sea levels. Um, the ocean itself has already been expanding because of the warmer temperatures, and on top of that, the rate in which the ice caps are melting is adding quite a bit of water to sea levels. Coming from the National Geographic website, there's been an average global sea level between 4 and 8 inches, 10 and 20 centimeters in the past 100 years. And so it is just on a constant rise. And although it may not seem like much, 8 inches is a lot. And with all the flash flooding we've been having here quite often in the US and all over the world, Pakistan was just flooded, so it definitely makes a difference. All that water rising. Lastly, on a global effect, greenhouse gas emissions are also on a rise, and China and India are leading the way in that, and the U.S. is not far behind. And so, as we see it in its progression, it doesn't seem like there's much hope for planet Earth. With the information provided from the EPA, it states that human activities increased by 43% from 1990 to 2015, and because of that increased human production, we are seeing the effects with global warming. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane and nitrous oxide are extremely detrimental to the equilibrium of the planet. Human production has drastically contributed to the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and if we do not find a solution to slow down the addition of greenhouse gases, we will fail ourselves and our planet.